Hi all, today we are going to learn about data types in C. The topics we are going to cover are data types, characters, numbers, decimal precision, memory size, type conversion, and example. C data types. There are three different types of data types in C. The variables in C must be specified with a specific data type along with a format specifier which would be a printf function. There are three types of data types. Basic data type is a primary data type which contains integer, float, double, character, boolean and void. The next one is derived data types which contains array, pointer and function. The next one is user defined data types which contains union, structure and inner. The basic data type contains specific memory size. For character, it contains 1 byte of data. For short int, 2 bytes of memory will be allocated. For integer, 4 bytes. For long int, 4 bytes. For float, 4 bytes. For double, 8 bytes. For long double, it is 12 bytes of memory will be allocated. And next comes format specifiers. These are the basic format specifiers which will be specified for each variable which will be declared. Here are some of the format specifiers. %d or %i which will be used for integer, %f or %F for float, %lf for double, %c for character, which will be used for strings which we will be learning in later chapters. Next comes characters. Char data type is used to store a single character which will be enclosed within single quotes. For example, this capital A which will be enclosed within single quotes. To store more than a single character is not feasible. It will only print the last character if we specify the character in this pattern. For example, int main character migrate equal to A. So if we are printing this migrate variable, so the output would be simply A. If we mention some other characters within this single quotes, for example, if we specify the word last in this single quotes, the output we will get is simply T character, because it will consider only one character within this character data type. Next comes numbers. See numeric data types. Int stores a whole number without decimals, for example 90 or 23 any numbers. Float or double will be storing floating point numbers with decimals, example 9.99. Decimal precision. If you print a floating point number, the output will show how many digits after the decimal point. For example, if we specify this variable as float, we will get 3.5. We have specified it as 3.5 and we have specified this variable as double with the value 19.99. So if we are simply printing these variables, we will get the output like 3.500000. So we are getting 6 digits after this decimal point. If we don't assign anything, the default number value after this decimal points will be 6 digits after the decimal point. So this is the output for this. So to avoid this, we can set decimal precision. So if we wanted to remove the extra zeros, we need to set decimal precision. That can be done using a dot operator, which would be followed by a number that would be specifying how many digits we wanted to have after the decimal point. For example, we have mentioned my float num variable as float data data type with the value 3.5. If we simply print this my float now, we will get the output as 3.500000. So simply we are getting the 6 digits after this decimal point. If we wanted to remove the zeros, we can set the decimal precision. For example, we are mentioning 0.1 here. So it will only show one digit after this decimal point. So the output will be 3.5. If we wanted to have 2 digits after the decimal point, we can mention 0.2 here. So it will display only 2 digits after this decimal point. For example, the output would be 3.50 for this particular printf statement. If we mention 0.4, the output would be 3.50000. So we are getting 4 digits after this decimal point. This is how we are setting decimal precision. The next topic is memory size. The memory size of a variable depends upon the type of the data what we are using. To get the size of the data type or a variable, we can use the size of operator. Simply we can use this syntax size of with the variable name. We can get how many data types have been allocated for this particular variable will be displayed. Next comes type conversion. We can simply convert the value of one data type to another data type. This is called type conversion. Here the integer int x is equal to 5, int y is equal to 2. Here we are dividing these two variables, 5 divided by 2, the answer would be 2.5. But here the output is 2. Why we are getting this? Because we have assigned these two variables as integer. So the output would be like this. So the using these two types of conversion, we can have the output as what we are expecting. If we wanted to get the output as 2.5, we can use explicit conversion. Implicit conversion should be automatically convert one data type to another data type. Explicit conversion, which we have to manually set the data type what we are expecting. In here automatic conversion. For example, we have mentioned this variable as float. We have the value of 9. So we are printing this variable. We are getting this output. Here we have mentioned 9, which is an integer value. See, in this output we are getting the float value. So the automatical conversion has been implemented here. This is an example of implicit conversion. See, here we have implemented manual conversion. Here we have used the data type float with the variable name sum. We have used the float here, float data type here. So we have manually set the integer value 5 divided by 2 with the data type float. So here we have manually set it. So the output would be 2.5. So if we set the data type manually, we will be getting the data type what we are expecting. So this is explicit. This is an example of explicit conversion. Here is the real-time example. See, user score equal to 423, which should be mentioned in integer data type. The next one is percentage, which should be mentioned as float. Here we are using explicit conversion, which we are setting it manually with the variable user score, which would be divided by maximum score into 100. So the answer will be printed over here with the decimal precision of 0.2F. So the output would be like user's percentage is 84.6. This is all about data types. The remaining chapters will be covered in the next videos. Thank you.